Hi, Flosstube friends. Welcome to my channel. My name is Chris. If you're new here, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come and check out and see what I've been up to. And if you're a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. It's always great to see you guys and share my stitching with you. So let's get started. Today is Friday, April 29th, 2022. April's been quite the month. It kicked off with a bang with my Stitch North retreat. I have done a recap video for that. If you want to go back and check it out, you're welcome to. And then that sort of finished the month up with a battle with the plague that shall not be named. I'm starting to feel a little bit better the last couple days, so I thought I'd try and get my video in, my April recap video in, before I jump into some sewing, because I have some catching up to do, I think. So let's get started. So my stats for the month of April, I did have one new start. I had a new start when I was at Stitch North. I worked on 5 of my whips, 5 of my works in progress. I had 2 finishes. Technically, they're part of a series, and I'm considering the series as one whip right now. So, and then I actually had 1 full finish that I'll share with you. So let's get started. My focus project number 1, so if you're new here, I usually have 2 focus projects every month. The first one stays the same until it's finished, and that is always going to be my oldest whip, my oldest work that I have in progress that's not completed. And then my second focus project for the month will be a random spin every month, and it'll change from month to month. And then on the weekends, I spin the wheel and just work on a random project just to have a break. But the 2 focus projects I work on during the week, and I'll do 2 or 3 or 4 days, just depending on how things are rolling and how I'm feeling. So my current focus project number 1 is the Joyful World series by the Snowflower Diaries. Sorry, my cat is laying on the dog bed, and the dog now wants to lay in the sun, and the cat's not letting him. Typical world. So we'll see if they sort it out themselves. If not, I'll have to take a little break. So the Snowflower Diaries, focus project number 1. Just a minute. Okay, I think we've sorted that out now. The cat has decided to go somewhere else. The dog is laying on his bed in the sun where he likes to lay. Hopefully everybody will be happy. So last month I was working on the month of August for the Snowflower Diaries, and all I had done was the frame around the outside. I'm going to put a picture here of what the original looks like, how it was charted. But if you remember, I was going to change mine up. I wasn't keen on the dog in the month of August. I already had done a black and white dog to commemorate my previous dog in a previous month. So I decided to switch it out, and I went to Snowflower Diaries Etsy shop, and she has a bunch of really cute patterns, and I just found one that I knew the animals would be the right size to fit in the spacing, and I just had to adjust things a little bit. But anyway, this is what it ended up looking like. So I did the sheep and the little bunny, and I love how those lazy daisies, the hydrangeas on either side, turned out. They're really pretty, and the way she did the gradation of the colors just looks really, really nice. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. So that is August. I also was able to complete another month since I last saw you. So I finished October. And I've done this mostly as charted. I just changed the snail up a little bit. I think it was charted with this swirl in the shell done in black, and then there was some black back stitching. And I wasn't keen on how that looked, so I just liked it like that. I changed the black to a brown, so it's a little more monochromatic, and I didn't put the back stitching on it, and I like how the little snail turned out. So that's October. So now I am working on November, and again, I just have the outline done, but I'll get started on it soon. I'll put a picture of what November is going to look like here so you can see what hopefully it'll look like. And yeah, I know this is odd, but you can see there's that big snag in this fabric, so I just moved the frame up. It doesn't give me a whole lot up here at the top, But I'm just finishing these myself. I'll show you once I get the series finished how I'm doing that. So I think I can make that work. I hope I can make it work. So yeah, so that is it for the Joyful World series by Snowflower Diaries. Those are all done on a 28 count tea-dyed linen. It's just a linen you get at Michael's with all the called for DMC. The charts were originally, I think, done in a lot of Gentle Arts threads, but she gives the DMC conversion on every one. So, and yeah, and if you're unfamiliar with that series, it actually is a free series that she put out a number of years ago, 2017, 2018, and you just have to join her Facebook group, and then I think you have access to the files if you want to stitch that series. It's a monthly series, all usually with animals, and sometimes like parents and baby animals, which are very sweet. I think she maybe did it for her own kids originally. So that was my focus project number 1. So I have 2 months left. I have November and December that I hope to get done soon, but I'll talk about that a little bit more in plans. So my second focus project for April, I actually finished. So I'm going to show you that in a little bit. But I had picked a new second focus project for the month of, the month of March I finished. I picked a new one for the month of April. And it is Christmas Village by Sarah. I know that's a small picture. I say that every time, but so this is done on a 32 count lamb's wool linen with the called for DMC. I'm over halfway done now. So you can sort of see all of that. And I haven't worked a whole lot on this month. All I've really completed is that little part of a house down at the bottom there, because I think the last time I showed it to you I finished the 2 little reindeer off on the right there. But so not a lot, but just a little bit. But it's quite a fun piece to stitch on, and I really like her color palettes, and I just think it's going to be a really fun piece to finally have completed and to be able to hang it up at Christmas, just because there's so much going on in it. I think it'll be fun. You know, people will be drawn to it and want to go up and check out all the details. So I'm looking forward to getting that finished at some point. So then we have my weekend projects that I worked on. So the first one I'm going to show you, it's called Shooting Stars. It was also a stitch along. It was a Christmas stitch along by, it was on the Silk Stitching app by Dorothy Kanzi. And again, it was, I think, in 2020 maybe. So I'm not sure if you can still access it or if it's still free, but I purchased it I got it when it was still free. So I'll put a picture of what it looks like here. And the original was stitched on a white fabric, but I thought it'd be fun to switch it out and try it on a black fabric. Pardon all the white fuzz and hairs on black fabric, as you know it attracts. It doesn't really attract it more than other fabrics, you just see it better. But and again, the light's really blowing this out, but the gold, the shooting stars that are coming down through there, I've added a little bit of gold DMC, metallic DMC, to the cotton floss to give it a little bit of sparkle, but it's hard for you to see that on the camera. But again, the colors aren't really reading. Maybe that's probably better if I'm back farther. But yeah, so it should be pretty fun. I was stitching on this at Stitch North, and yeah, a lot of people that were just walking around, I think, were drawn to it because of the bright colors and the black fabric. So it's going to be fun to see how it looks when it's all finished. I thought that would be kind of a cool one to, you know, that you could do it on different fabrics. So you could do it on white, the black, and, you know, maybe another one like a green or something, and potentially even mix up the colors that you're using, and then, you know, display them all together. It might be fun to see all the different variations together. But I'll just try and get it stitched once, and then we can decide on something like that. So So another weekend project that I worked on was Celebrate Christmas by Madame Chantilly. So this is one of her tiered trays. I would like to eventually do all of these, but this is the only one that I own right now. So we'll get it finished and then I'll see about maybe getting another one. And this is stitched on a 32 count platinum linen with all the called for DMC. And there's where I'm at. So I worked on that little hot chocolate mug down there. And I did the first shelf of the tiered tray. And then I did a little bit more of the little sort of pine tree, Christmas tree behind the mug as well. But if I'm on the ball, I should have put a picture up here of what it looked like before. So hopefully I did that already. But yeah, so that's where I'm at now with that. And her patterns are always really nice to stitch. They're just a really, again, I really like the colors that she chooses. Although the red in that, you can see in the picture it's quite red, but mine looks more burgundy than red, but I think it's fine. But yeah, I really like her color palettes that she picks. And, you know, she has just the perfect, I think, balance of solid stitching and color changing that it keeps it interesting and fun. And again, her patterns are also whimsical. That's right down my alley. So so then yeah, the next weekend one that I worked on was Hunter and Foxhound. It's a Luca S kit that I have for my horse wall someday in my dreams. And that's where I am with that. So I just basically completed another column. Sort of getting more of the horse's crest of its neck. And then my last weekend one was a new start. It was my new start when I was at Stitch North. And that is Teresa Koget's Fox and Friend. This was a gift from my friend Nicole, Buckeye Stitcher. Hi, Nicole. And she gifted me the pattern and the floss and the fabric. So, beautiful, beautiful gift. And that's actually how much I got done when I was at Stitch North. So I thought that was pretty good. It actually worked out to be really good stitching for a retreat because it was kind of, again, fairly solid colors and straight lines, and so the counting was minimal. So yeah, feel good about getting that good start on there. And so then the last thing is actually my full finish. So if you remember last month, my second focus project was this fob, Crossed Wing Collection, the Chipping Sparrow. So I'd completed the nest, which I showed you last time, and I was working on the fob. And I have to be honest, I kind of was just going to stitch it because it was part of the pattern and it felt incomplete if I hadn't stitched it. But I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it because I didn't know if I really wanted to turn it into a fob. And I could make it an ornament, but I didn't know if I wanted to do that. But I just decided I would stitch it anyway. And yeah, I finished it up. And so when I finished it up, I thought, oh, I might as well sew it together. So that much is done. And so they have you stuff it a little bit. And then I just got playing around with it and thinking, and I did end up finishing it as a fob. And I put it on my scissors, and it makes me really happy to see it sitting there on my table. I think part of the reason I wasn't sure I wanted to finish it as a fob is this did not call to me. All of these fancy giant tassels and these big beads, and I don't know, it just, that didn't appeal to me. But so what I ended up doing is I just used some twine. I know it's kind of rustic, but that's my vibe. And to me, it sort of translates more into birds and birds' nests. And I had a couple of little glass beads that I just used there. So yeah, so there's the back and there's the front, and I just hang it on my scissors like that. And the other thing I really like about it is it's really light. I was gifted a beaded, charmed, really pretty scissor fob, but I found it bothered me because it was heavy and it made my scissors heavier, and you know, it was noisier setting it down on my table, especially if I stitch late at night when my family's sleeping. But like, you know, this it makes no noise. And again, it's really light, and that little bird just makes me so happy. So yeah, I finished all the 1/1 stitching, and it went really well this time. So I might just decide to get myself another biscornest pattern and try doing another nest and a fob. So we'll see. But yeah, so I was really happy with how that turned out. So that's it as far as my stitching goes. My next segment, I usually show you a future start, but I have to be honest, I haven't gotten around to kitting something up. It always ends up taking me longer than I think it's going to, and I don't plan ahead far enough to do it for the video. So I'm going to try and do it shortly after I finish this video so that it'll be ready for the next video, because I often don't end up thinking about it until I'm about to do a video, and then it's like, ah. So I apologize, I do not have a future start to show you today. I did want to talk about plans though. So I'm going to finish out April, so I basically just have today and tomorrow. I'm probably just going to work on the Snowflower Diaries ones, to be honest. If I'm not feeling it, I might do Christmas Village, because it was my other focus project this month and it didn't get a lot of stitching on it. But I think I'll probably work on those rather than spinning my wheel to work on another random project this weekend. So, but next month is May, and in my past videos I mentioned I usually do like to try to do something for Maynia. I don't tend to do a ton of new starts, but I think one year I did like Merry Maynia, and I worked on a lot of my Christmas whips, and I mixed in a few new starts with that. But this year, because my focus is kind of on trying to get some of my older projects finished, or just to make progress on some of my projects, I decided to do Monogamania, where I'm going to basically be working on one project for the whole month of May. And a few videos back, I had asked my viewers if they wanted to vote on what project they thought I should try and focus on, or what project they'd like to see some progress on. And I took all of those votes and I put them into a wheel. So if a particular project got voted for 5 times, it got 5 entries on the wheel to increase the odds that it would get picked, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, so I spun the wheel this morning before I started my video. I couldn't do it live because it's on my iPad and I film on my iPad, but I did take a screenshot of what came up. So I'm going to put a picture here of what project I'm going to be working on. Yay! So White Horse is the project that I'm going to be working on for the month of May. I probably will still switch out on weekends just to give myself a break so I don't burn out on that particular project. And again, I'm undecided, and I'm going to leave it open that I may either spin the wheel and pick something random, or I may pull out the Snowflower Diaries and try and get those finished. I only have 2 months left, so it would be kind of fun if I could complete that in the month of May as well. And then I sort of feel like it's a double bonus that I get that finished, as well as some significant progress on White Horse. So I'm going to put a picture of White Horse, what it's going to look like when it's finished here. And then I'll show you where it's at, so you kind of know my starting point at the beginning of the month. So here's where I am with that. I just love the shading that the designer gets. I've mentioned in the past, there aren't a lot of colors in this. Well, obviously it's all just grays and blacks, but I think there's only like 9 colors, but then there are several blends, which is what gives you, I think, that great shading that you get. So I'm excited to see a little bit more progress on that. So stay tuned, or come back next month and you can see how well I did over the course of the month. So yeah, so that's it as far as my plans for next month, for May. So as far as stitching goes, that's all I have to share today. So if you're just here for the stitching, I'll see you next month or next time. If you want to stick around, I'm going to do a quick sneak peek into my Etsy shop, what I'm working on, what I've got up for sale, some of my favorite new things, and then a quick segment at the end of craft from the past. So let's go to my Etsy shop. So if you've been watching for a little while, you probably know I've kind of developed a little bit of a passion, obsession for patchwork, I guess. Again, I still don't know what to call it, but taking little squares of fabric and sewing them together and making things. So I've been doing more of that. So one of the most recent bags I've made is this one with this really pretty yellow and gray fabric in the back, which I like to quilt as well. It just has a white interior. I've also started using these little pulls. I did just have the little dog buttons with some of the twine as sort of my signature, but I just thought these pulls might, obviously they're sturdier and they'd last longer. I kind of miss the little dogs, but I don't know if my customers would miss the little dogs or not, but yeah, so there's that. And then of course then I have to make what I'm calling a mini, so it's basically a miniature version of that bag that you can use just to put, you know, your threads and scissors and stuff in. So yeah, so that's up in my shop right now. I did just get some new fabric in, and I just thought I'd show you. Oh, there's my cat back there again, Piper. I got this really pretty blue fabric by Riley Blake. Delightful, yeah, delightful. Riley Blake fabric. So hard to show. But it's just all these really pretty blues because I don't have a ton of blue fabric. But I decided to get this, I think is it a layer cake? Quilters will know, these 10 by 10 squares, because I thought they would be a perfect size to make some of these. So I might make a few of these, and then I might make some of the coasters that I was showing in a previous video with the felt on the one side to put your threads and stuff on, because these would be a perfect size to do something like that. So I'm looking forward to playing around with this fabric. Look at this one. How pretty is that? So pretty. Alrighty, so that's it for my sneak peek into my Etsy shop. So my last segment, I usually like to do a craft from the past. So I've been really lucky where I used to work. I'm retired now, but where I last worked, I worked with a number of really talented, crafty people. And one of my friends that I worked with, she's like an exceptional multi-crafter. Like, she does everything. But she had introduced me to some felted slippers that she had knitted. And so basically you knit these out of a certain type of wool, and then you put them in the washing machine, and the agitation, you know, rubbing the fibers together, takes them from looking like yarn, and they look like felt. And you have to keep doing that and taking them out and putting them on your foot and trying them till you get them to the right size, because you actually knit them a lot bigger than what they're obviously going to end up like, because they have to basically shrink, I guess, in the washing machine. And so I really liked her slippers and decided I would try making a pair, because I've done some knitting in the past, and I did, and they turned out really great, and I love them. And then my previous dog ate one. Well, she didn't eat the whole slipper. She just chewed a big hole in it. And I was heartbroken, because it was, you know, it was quite a bit of work to make them and stuff. And I was sharing that with another one of my co-workers, one of my friends, who, again, is an exceptional quilter, knitter, multi-crafter. And she was so sweet, and she said, I have some of that yarn. I'll knit you another one. And so she knit me another slipper to match the remaining one that I had. And I was able to, felt it and, get it to the right size, and I had a pair of slippers again. And then my dog ate them again. I don't know how she got them. You think I'd learned my lesson? I don't know. I was heartbroken, and I couldn't bring myself to tell my friend that had re-knit one for me that had happened. So I just lived without my felted slippers after that. Anyway, when I retired, the friend that had re-knit my slipper for me told me she had a gift for me, and it did take her a little while to get it to me, but so she did just recently give it to me, and it's a pair of these slippers, and I was so excited because I really, really like them, and I just never got around to making myself another pair. But she's given them to me. They're not felted yet, because you kind of have to do that yourself to make sure that they're the right size and that they fit your feet. So I thought it would be really fun to show you how big they start out before you felt them. And then what I'll do is I'll felt them before my next video, and I can show you what they look like once they're felted. Okay? So, are you ready? Here's how big they are. So the bottoms are actually double, which makes them really, really comfy. And then these are the sides. So they're like a clog sort of slipper that you just slide your foot in. Anyway, isn't that crazy? Like, they're as big as my head. So here's the two of them. Maybe this will be my screen grab. Put them this way. Make them like ears. Anyway, sorry. Sorry for the silliness. Anyway, that's how big they start out. So I will get them felted between now and the next video and show you what they look like once they're felted, because they'll look completely different and they'll be much smaller. Well, they won't look completely different, but they'll look quite a bit different. You won't see all these knit stitch marks. So anyway, that is it for today. Thank you so much for stopping by to have a little visit and see what I've been up to. And I will see you hopefully in a month. And until then, take care, everybody. Bye. Ollie, Ollie, come. Ollie, come. Sit. You ready? Are you ready? It's so blurry. There we go. Ready? You ready?